I knew you would do this. You cannot do with one sentence. One sentence, next sentence, and the next sentence, and the next one, like that. Yeah, I thought you might do this. So just do one at a time. And you'll get my lot about this, right? Okay? You don't always have to summarize. Unless she's upset, if she's just rambling, going on and on, that's all you have to do. But when she's intensely upset or sad and angry, then you have to summarize. But most of the time, just to say okay. So when we look at the brain like this, the left side of the brain actually decodes all the language that I'm talking right now. And the right side of the brain decodes all the tonality, that how I talk to you, the tone of my language, right? And the problem with the female male is very different. The female voices are very much more complex than male voice. But we women, when we hear both man and female voice, we will find both left side and the right side lights up and we listen good. It's the problem with the guy's brain. When they hear male voice, the left side lights up and the right side gets dark. And that's okay because the left side is the one that catches most of the words and sentences. And that's why you guys, when you're talking, you don't even have to look at each other. You just record whatever is said. Right? But when you're listening to female brain, that's when you have a problem with your wife. The left side of the brain becomes so dark, only the right side lights up. So this is why when we're upset and we're telling you about something, and in a desperate moment you say, okay, honey, I will do it, whatever you say, I got it. And this is where a woman gets so upset about a week later because the very thing that he promised he will never do, he does it again. Because he didn't really get what we were saying. He just knew that we were upset, so he was trying to calm us down. So we have to have a little bit of skill as a woman. When we talk to our husband, when you are too upset and you think you might scream and yell, no talking. Don't waste your time. He's not going to be able to hear you when your voice goes to soprano. Guys cannot catch the soprano wave up there. You notice my voice is very low range, like a male voice. My usual voice is high soprano. When I sing Mozart Alleluia, the high scale. I had to train myself to talk low like this because half of the audience is usually the male. So when you are serious, you want your husband to get what you're going to say, you don't say when you're upset and saying while you're crying. You say time out. Honey, I'm going to say something very important to you within an hour, so please get ready, but right now I am too upset to talk. So then you got this attention, you go out, do whatever that'll calm you down. And after you walk, or you go sauna, or you drink, or you took a hot bath, whatever that may calm you down, you do that. And then you come back, and when you talk the bottom line first. Remember, guys have a very little language quotient. That if you talk too much and say the conclusion at the end, he has already lost you. So say the very important thing first. Honey, when I ask you to take out the trash, can you do it that day? And then you can elaborate. The reason is because the fly will come in and it's going to smell all over. You can resolve the explaining part a little bit later. But say the most important thing first and keep your voice down. And for gentlemen, if your spouse is upset, you notice, what do you have to do? You look at her facial expression. You have to read her lips. And if she goes on and on with her talking, you can say, can you say the most important one first? Because you know you're about to lose her, right? And you can do that. And then also, you can speak as she talks, that you keep your voice down and try to listen to her so you will really get what she's talking about. Okay? And when she's talking about, there's one thing that I want to say is, when your woman is talking to you, make sure you have an eye contact. Don't be looking at the TV and flipping the channel. Oh, I hear you. Go on. She's going to be so upset with you. Because women don't feel that you're listening to us. unless you're looking at us. The guys do well side by side talking. Women, we don't. We have to look at each other for us to feel that you're really talking to us. And then we really feel that you love us. So talking is very, very important. I cannot teach you all the communication skills, but at least you learn 2 skills, to summarize and sigh. To get by until next seminar that you can have, right? Okay? Now, the guy, my men are probably thinking, when is she talking for us? Yeah, my husband is here, so I need to be fair to you guys. So men, why so much for 90% of sexual bonding? So we, the psychologists, do a lot of research about this, right? So we're finding out men have a very weaker bonding area in the emotional brain. They don't bond well in sharing a lot of emotional issues. But their sexual brain is 2.5 times larger than female brain. Now when brain thickness is 2.5 times larger, it brings significant difference in real life. It could make 20 different times. Then on top of that, guy has a 10 times more testosterone level than female. And then on top of that, the male, they confirm their love by having a lot of oxytocin chemical coming out of their body. In usual days, in everyday life, we women have a lot more oxytocin flowing in our body. For guys, they don't. What this oxytocin is the pitocin drip, that when you are having your first child and second child, you went to the delivery room and they give you the pitocin drip to push out your baby. And the oxytocin is the same thing with that pitocin. So when you breastfeed your kid, and you feel so closely bonded with your child, and you feel like, oh, my precious girl and boy, she is so precious, even if I put her in my eyes wouldn't hurt, that kind of feeling. That intimate bonding feeling provided by this chemical is the oxytocin. And for guys, when they have a sexual engagement and go into toward climax, and just right before climax and right after the climax, there will go 500% more oxytocin flowing from their body. And that's when he feels that she is my woman, she is my wife. And to understand this, one of the psychologists did testing with oxytocin, testosterone. So she received the injection about a month to the same level of guys. And she had to endure 1 month. And she thought she was going crazy. Every guy who walked by her, she couldn't help to looking at them between the legs. And as soon as they walked by, she was looking at their buttocks, shaking. And she said after the 1 month, the best way that she can express how guys has to endure when they're rejected by a wife is for us to understand when we go on a trip, we have to go to the bathroom to empty our bladder, but there's no restroom. So you're squeezing your legs, try to be patient, try to control your urine coming out. And it's so difficult. By the time you find the bathroom, you're so relieved. By the time I learned this much knowledge, I went home, I asked my husband to sit on the sofa, and I knelt to him. I said, honey, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that I did this sinful behavior to you. Finally, then I understood why the Bible said that your body is not yours. You cooperate with your spouse. Every night was not tonight to me. So when he comes, it's, oh, I'm too tired tonight. Not tonight. Tomorrow comes again. Not tonight. So I don't know how he endured, but I did give him sincere apology. Did that work for you? So this is the #1 need from the wife. That we, as a pastor's wife, have to remember all of the pastors are guys, they are human beings. And if we, refuse him one day after, one night after, next night, their self-esteem does go down. They feel less confident. They feel like they're not accomplishing anything, even though they're good pastors. So this is the number one need that we need to provide to our husbands. In Korean culture, for us to be a good wife is to cook good, clean the house good, and take care of the kids good. Not biblical. If we read Proverbs 31 and all the Bible verses about women, we need to become very sexually responsive to our husbands. And then everything else comes in a sequence. Cooking is good, yeah, they don't ever refuse that, right? Keeping the house clean is good too. But if you become too tired by cooking and cleaning the house and you have to refuse him, gentlemen, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to have a little messy house and better service at night? You have to be honest about this. Yeah? Raise your hand. All right, amen. There we go. I can't talk for you guys. I'm only reporting the research. So if I'm saying something right, you have to do something. Amen. Or stand up and yay. And something for us to know that I'm talking about something real for you guys, right? Yeah. So we have to take care of their need. Okay? Now, what's the 10% of the emotional bonding? I'm telling you, I guess this is why the God said after he made it a man, he said, no good to live alone. The men don't even have a good self-image about themselves. It has to be boosted by somebody. I'm so frustrated about this power that is given to me by God, that I have to praise my husband every day about something good. Otherwise, his self-image will be broken down so fast and so easily. And then even though we get attacked by you guys or church members, we still stay pretty good actually for 2 years. But guys, they can't even last 1 week if we start complaining about them, right? They get so desperate and become very defensive and they don't know what to do. So they need a lot of praises. And in the early part of our ministry, I didn't know better. I thought my job was ASS, analyze his sermon. Scrutinize his sermon and give a suggestion. And I did that well. Every time he comes out of the sermon, as soon as we get in the car, oh, the example you put on there was not appropriate. Oh, the sentence you put in there was not good. And